the Suzuki car. In his rush, he fails to notice the Suzuki family, and they continue onward to their personal residence. The Suzuki family is safe for now, and they drive off into the distance. Captain Sasaki arrives at the Suzuki personal residence. He's greeted by the Prime Minister's grandson and Miss Yuriko Hara. Sasaki pulls out his sword and places it to her chest. He demands to speak to the Prime Minister. Suzuki is not there, however, which enrages Captain Sasaki. He turns to his men and orders the place searched. After a while, the soldiers report that Suzuki is not in the residence. Disgusted, Sasaki orders the house burned. Unlike the official residency, Suzuki's house becomes a conflagration. Sasaki orders his men to their next objective, leaving Suzuki's grandson and Miss Hara to watch their house burn to the ground. General Anami draws his sword as Takeshita and Ida watch. He is on his knees. With a final inhale, he stabs himself in the gut. Takeshita drops to his knees as he watches Anami pull the sword across his belly, blood seeping over his hands and across his lap onto the floor. The blood falls onto his letter to the Emperor. With one hand, Anami reaches up and touches his neck. He searches for the corroded artery. As Anami begins to sway from the pain and blood loss, he swipes his knife across his neck, and the blood pulsates outwards. Yet he still remained upright, Takeshita and Ida watching in horror. "Shall I help you?" asked Takeshita. "No," answered Anami. "Leave me." With those words, Takeshita stood, and he stepped outside into Anami's garden. Anami remained upright. At Inui Gate, General Tanaka confers with Colonel Haga. Haga admits Division Order No. 584 was a forgery. Tanaka just orders Haga back to his men and to return to their original stations. Haga complies. The revolt is all but over. Major Hatanaka still has his pistol drawn on Tateno. However, he can see the situation is falling apart around him. He goes on a tirade defending his position, the evils of the cabinet, and how the cabinet had polluted the emperor into surrendering. It falls on deaf ears, the guards growing uneasy. The telephone rings and Hatanaka lowers his pistol and answers. Tateno breathes a sigh of relief. On the other end is an officer of the Eastern District Army. The coup has failed. Hatanaka has failed. After hanging up, all the fire inside Hatanaka vanished. He looked at the guards, sighed, and ordered everyone to leave. With that, the conspirators left NHK, and the radio station was free to resume preparations to broadcast the Emperor's speech. Lieutenant Colonel Shizake is still at the Imperial Palace. He learns of General Tanaka and the Eastern District Army seizing the guard's office. In a fit of rage, Shizake drew his sword and hit the closest pine tree. Bark flew in every direction. Shizake now realizes he has failed. Captain Sasaki and his men arrive at Baron Haranuma's house. They are unaware if anyone is inside or not, and Sasaki immediately orders the place burned to the ground. His radical soldiers obey, and after watching the building be engulfed in flames, Sasaki orders his men back to the vehicles and to their next objective. Anami's body remains still, his form upright, head slumped, blood still dripping from his wounds. Takeshita has returned and asks Anami a question, but there is no answer. Anami has fallen unconscious. He approaches his uncle, then jabs a dagger into Anami's neck to finish the job and allow Anami to die with honor. He then calls Anami's wife and sister to inform them of his death. Then he returns, staring at Anami's lifeless body. He blames himself for failing Anami, the Emperor, and Japan. Prime Minister Suzuki awakes. He sees his son entering, safe from Captain Sasaki and his men. The Inspector General of the Tokyo Police enters and informs Suzuki that General Anami is dead, and that soldiers have occupied the Imperial Palace. This is the first Suzuki hears about the extent of Hatanaka's coup. At 7:21 a.m., a special bulletin is heard over NHK radio. His Imperial Majesty the Emperor has issued a rescript. It will be broadcast at noon today.